Hi, Ingrid. Thank you so much for
Hi. Of
helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
course. So hi, I'm Ingrid, and I'm a freshman at Florida Tech, and I'm studying planetary sciences. So a little bit of a space nerd myself. Yes.
Um, so what got you into planetary sciences?
So I've always loved astronomy, and I love looking at the stars. I've taken a couple classes in high school about astronomy, and then that's how I found out I love planets. Hence, coming to like one of the very few schools that offer planetary sciences as a major. So now I'm hoping to get a job as a scientist.
Now, is there anything like in your childhood that kind of like created that spark, or what do you think really made it happen?
I've always wanted to be a scientist, but I come from Oregon, so the sky outside is beautiful, and come from a small town, so light pollution is almost basically gone, and the stars are just beautiful. And I've always wanted to imagine going there one day and what it would be like in the future.
It
Yeah.
would be interesting to see a study of how many astronomers had childhoods that were out in the country versus in big
Yes.
cities.
I never thought about that, but that's actually interesting.
Did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
I did know. I'm excited. I've always wanted to be one of those people, but it's coming so soon.
How did you find out about it?
Well, I always catch up on news from NASA and astronauts. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit too short to be one myself, but I still keep up with it. And as a woman, I know that they're gonna be sending, soon the first woman to the moon, and that's obviously very exciting. So I'm excited for that.
Would it surprise you that whenever I go up to people at Starbucks or at the mall or at the airport and ask them, did you know that we're sending people back to the moon, that most people say they had no idea?
It's very surprising. I mean, obviously, I know I keep up with the space news a little bit more than most people, but it's actually like it's been decades since we've gone to the moon. So I thought more people would know, but apparently not.
Do you think, I mean, why do you think that is? Why do you think it's like stayed below the radar of like the general population?
I well, obviously there's people who don't believe that we've gone to the moon yet, and I think that's actually very common. But it's kind of I think it's been just a little bit too long since we've gone that it's kind of been not so hot on our brain. But hopefully now that it's coming so soon, almost in a year since it's almost 2023, hopefully it starts to become more popular.
Now, you said you were excited about it, and I've talked to a lot of people, and they ask me, why are we going back? And I was just wondering, do you have a favorite reason that you like to give people?
I actually don't know why we're going back. Well, besides the obvious of wanting to explore more, and now that we have better technology, better sciences, besides that, I actually don't know why we're going so soon, but I'm not mad about it.
Now, when you think about the future of humanity, like 200 years from now, what does it look like to you? What do you imagine it being like?
I do imagine it being kind of like science fiction. Hopefully, we're all going to space, everybody, we don't have to be astronauts to do so. That would be the dream. Maybe we have, plants growing on Mars or on the moon. That's what I hope for.
So you think in 200 years we'll actually have like people who live their entire lives like off of the earth?
I think so. I think we're advancing very quickly, and it's very possible. I think so.
Um, Now you said you wanted to be an astronaut.
Yes.
So if you had the opportunity to go to space, you would probably jump on it.
Oh, I definitely 100% would.
Is there anything in particular you want to do on your trip to space?
I I did have that question asked once, and I don't know many astronauts that dance or have danced in space. So I thought that'd be something, funny I could do. And or I could grow lettuce, either
Wow.
one.
I'm like imagining, how you have like these ballets and you have all these people and
Yes.
like they're like two-dimensional, and
Yeah.
occasionally you have some lifted up, but here you'd be able to have like a three-dimensional dance. I guess you'd have like little
Yes.
jetpacks or something that you'd have to, how would it work?
I don't know, but I think, maybe we'll discover a new form of dance. I think that's very possible, and it would be in space, so even better.
Wow. I love that idea,
Yes.
and maybe it's not even in the same spacecraft, it's a whole
Oh,
group
mhm.
of spacecrafts all just dancing.
I don't know. I think we're gonna be discovering lots of new things in the upcoming years that, we probably don't even imagine now, including dancing and how that's gonna work.
Now, there's some talk about colonizing Mars in the next few decades, right?
Yeah,
I think Elon at one point said he wants to have 1 million people on Mars by 2050 or something like that.
I think
Um,
so.
so let's say Mars colonization opens up and there's a, Mars colonists please apply poster and you see it. Do you apply?
I I know I'm probably not ready yet, but I would apply right now. I think um there's just there's so many things you could do, and it would be better for so many reasons, and it has so many advantages that I wouldn't just be doing it for myself, but I would be doing it for everybody here on Earth.
Now, what do you think that experience would be like though, like on a day-to-day basis?
Being on Mars and colonizing Mars, I
Yeah.
think it would be definitely very different. I think that, well, one, I would miss everybody here. Um, I've heard that it's a lot of being able to manage your time very wisely, and it's trying to, stick to your schedule. I've heard that that's very difficult. And having hobbies, like I've heard astronauts read, and if you're not doing science experiments, it's, exercise, um, or those hobbies. And I think I would have too much free time, is what I would say if I was there.
Oh, what do you think it'd be like having to live inside of a container like your entire life, and every time that you want to go out is a multi-hour
Hmm.
exercise to get suited up, and it's only for brief periods of time, and I mean, like, what would that be like?
It would definitely be a challenge. And um, what's it called? As much as I would love to do that, it is a lot of work. And I've heard that it's very heavy to put on those suits. And even with the difference in gravity, it's still heavy. And I would I would try my best to do those things, but it would be very difficult.
Um, so now, that 200 era question, I like to turn that around and look at it from the opposite end. So let's say you do immigrate to Mars, right? And your great, 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 great granddaughter has grown up on Mars. She's 200 years in the future in high school. And just
Wow.
like today, we might do a history project about the 1820s. She's
Mhm.
doing a project about the 2020s. So she's 200 years in the future looking back at you. What do you hope she can write about this decade?
I hope she's able to write about how much we've advanced and how much we're going to include women. I think that's something very important in this decade and in these coming years. And not just women, but the women of color and people of color, and how we're going to be sending the first people of those kind to the moon. And I hope she's very proud of what we've done. And, I hope we keep progressing like that, is all I have to say.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Ingrid, I really appreciate your time. And
Yes.
those were the questions I had. But is there something that you wanted to talk about, or did you have any questions for me?
I Well, I was just thinking about it on my way home today, but um, I kind of have my doubts that it's coming so soon. 2024 is really, really close, but I'm excited nonetheless. Do you think it's going to happen in 2024?
Well, when I started the project back in 2019, the plan was to land the first woman on the moon in 2024. And then I think earlier this year that slipped out into 2025. But they still plan to put the first 4 people around the moon
Mhm.
of the century in 2024. So I think largely a lot of it depends upon this Monday's launch.
Yes.
Will you get to see that? You're there in Florida.
Yes, I did just see a launch 2 days ago in Cocoa Beach, but everybody here believes it's going to be pushed back, and somebody even said they think it's going to happen in 3 years. So who knows? But fingers crossed that it happens this coming Monday. You said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally thinking that Starship is the big game changer. If that
Mhm.
if that gets developed and you're able to reuse the same craft over and over
Yeah,
again, then I think at that point the price of going to space just like drops.
and we'll be getting there faster and more people. Yeah, and unfortunately, we keep getting storms here, so I think that might delay it. There's one coming, I think this weekend. So hopefully it doesn't push it back too much.
Yeah. But a lot of the challenge I think we have is the setup time. I mean, it
Mhm.
takes like a day to roll it out to the launch
Oh yeah.
pad, and then, but if you're able to like put the craft there, fuel it, launch it, you know, maybe the storms aren't such a big deal.
Yes. Hopefully. I mean, it is the most powerful rocket ever built so far. It should be able to take it on.
True.
Yeah, of
Well, Ingrid, thank you so much. Oh,
course.
I have a bit of a cold, so I'm trying to keep from coughing.
No,
um,
you're good.
but I hope you have a good rest of your night, and
Yes,
thank you so much for participating in my project.
of course. I'll let more people know about it. This was very fun.
I would really appreciate that.
Of course.
Bye bye.
Bye.